Champion, champion.
Campione! Ole, ole, ole!
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! What an unbelievable last few days. Tottenham Hotspur, champions of Europe, Europa League Cup champions. What about that? Come on, Tuma. What about that? I have
Come on, ye Spurs!
come on, you
Come on,
Spurs.
ye
I mean,
Spurs!
can you tell that we're a little bit happy?
Oh,
No,
this is.
it's been one hell of a wait, and honestly, what a way to cap it off. What a way to break the hoodoo. And in the unlikeliest sort of what you might call circumstances, you look back over it. I mean, you're coming 17th in the league. Being the object of ridicule and all sorts of negative press, and then your manager's being quoted every day about yes, he never loses, he always wins in the second season. And guess what? He shut them up. He shut all of them up, and came away and did it. He just went and effing did it. Come on, what about that, Chuma?
I'm loving Big Ange
Instead,
instead.
honestly, and
It's
threw
back.
it
It's
all.
and
Yeah,
we went through it all.
we went through it all. We went through it
We
all. We
went
went
through it
through
all.
it all.
You know, like you
It-
said, we said before, it starts at the beginning. I
yeah,
always, do you usually? No, not usually. I always win in my second season.
honestly, yeah,
It's for those of us that are fans here that are like, Christian believers, there's something about the power of positive confession, the power
absolutely.
of a prophetic confession, and especially, I'm not trying to preach to anyone online, but it's faith actually works when you believe. It's the person who believes that
Yeah,
thing is saying, and this guy believed it, and when you make a faith statement like that, people always say there's always a test that comes.
yeah,
For a testimony to come, you have to have a test.
yeah, yeah,
And he made the statement, and in order for him to have this testimony that he's won, he's he's done what he said he was going to do, he delivered a trophy to Tottenham. The test came, and I'll be honest, I was one of those at the end. I was at the beginning, I was with him. I was like, oh God, like I like this guy so much, but man, I don't understand what's happening tactically. No one could see the end picture, and you know, I'm
yeah.
so proud of him.
Proud of him is an understatement because I'm the eternal positivist, and I have to say that I never for one moment doubted him. I said even if he doesn't win this season, for instance, right? For me, keep him because I felt for a number of reasons. A, we have a team that is going through a transition, right? And when you're going through a transition, I'm not sure it's the best thing to have another restart within that transition. That's the first point. The second point was that in by some sort of twist of fate, accident of fate, if you want to call it that, right? We've had to endure a very, very challenging season. It's an aberration, an outlier of a season because there's just no way you could explain us being in that position in the first place. For one, secondly, I know a lot of people will tell you that oh yes, injuries is just only half the story. But honestly, I actually feel that look, that had a such a debilitating effect on our team that it just disrupted the whole thing. That's the second point, right? Thirdly, I felt that the team needed to have gone through this what you might call um, test, you know, because if they didn't go through this test, they wouldn't understand what adversity means, right? And I kept saying that during the course of the whole season that look, what these guys are going to do, they've done a fantastic job keeping us even going, right? Now, he then mentioned obviously after the win that look, their objective was to focus on the Europa League, and my goodness, did it come off? Came off big time, big time, and honestly, I can't even say how pleased I am with him. And on top of that, you had all of the negative press to deal with, all of the, mockers, all of the, haters from other clubs and all that. And, he kept his chin up, and you have to hand it to him. Whatever you say, and Postecoglou, I give you your flowers. Honestly, I wish I could find something to sort of say, yes, and you are a superstar. You are a hero. Honestly, tell me, Chuma.
For me, I don't even know how to, you know, I've been to a couple of Spurs parties. I went to the parade yesterday to be surrounded by over 200,000 people that all came. You could see, I, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it wasn't just a party atmosphere. It wasn't just relief. It was like, this is where we belong. This
Yeah,
is where we've always belonged, but we never had this. We Tottenham are a big club. Tottenham are a big club, and this goes to some of the some of our younger members in our groups, in our fan club, in our community. Some of them that have never tasted any trophies before. You've had you've had several. I've had 2008. I've had 99. And so I know what it means like for Spurs to win a trophy and be fully conscious and be a grown adult doing it. But some of them have never seen anything. They were too young in 2008. Some of them weren't even born, probably. And now they're like, wow, see the outpouring, see so many Tottenham fans. People don't understand how many Tottenham fans there are because we're the silent people on your WhatsApp group, we're the silent ones on your Facebook groups, we're the silent ones on Instagram. And so Tottenham aren't relevant. Tottenham have been banter fodder for decades, and Tottenham don't win anything. Tottenham don't do anything. Tottenham don't do this. Tottenham have some very good players. Tottenham have had the best managers. But I said something last season that I even forgot that I said, which was, I'm starting to understand that Ange Postecoglou isn't the philosophy in terms of the playing style. It is the mindset. This guy has a winner's mindset. He believes he is going to win. It's only a matter of time till he wins. And it's going to follow him everywhere. And Spurs have reaped the other guys we've had, by the way, little shout out to Antonio Conte. He won the Serie A, you know, but he
this,
echoed something that Chiellini. I also like Giorgio. I love Giorgio Chiellini, the defender for Juventus. But when he made this statement about Tottenham, him and Antonio Conte got into my bad books. When it's the history of Tottenham. I've spoken to some young football fans, when we're having all these debates at work or social circles, where they actually don't believe Spurs have won anything at all. It's not that Spurs haven't won in a long time.
yeah,
It's that Spurs have, I'm like, dear boy, Google. Google is your friend.
yeah.
Spurs have won trophies. The guy go, no. And when they Google, they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's just that we haven't won anything recently. But guess what? We have now won the most recent trophy up until the Champions League. The most recent trophy, Spurs have gotten it now. And like you said, it's the test. In the Bible, they call it the wilderness experience where the Israelites left Egypt and they were on the way to the promised land. But some of them had to die. The people who did not believe died on the way there. It was testing, but they finally got to the promised land.
Yeah.
Spurs have been on this journey for 17 years. We've had some fantastic players, absolutely fantastic players, and each one to me was a brick in the foundation of building this house to get to this point. I don't think anything was ever wasted. Some people are out there now, slagging off the Pochettino years. No, you had to go through that. You had to see those kind of things to get to where you are now. And now with this now, is the case of, in my opinion, this is the case of standing at a bus stop, waiting for a bus,
Classic London bus
and then
style, eh?
fine, yes, a London bus stop. For those who are familiar, you wait for hours and hours for a bus.
you know,
Finally, one arrives, and you look
you know.
behind, and there are three more coming. I think this is the. I'm not, I'm not Ange Postecoglou, but I think this is the top. Then all of a sudden, in the parade, he goes, "For those of you TV series watchers,
I know.
season 3 is always better than season 2." And you know what? I was thinking about everyone's been comparing him to Eric Ten Hag. They're like saying, well, Ten Hag came to Manchester United, and he ended up winning these trophies. Manchester should have sacked him, but they shouldn't. Da, da, da. And I thought about it, and I said there's some differences here. One, Eric Ten Hag came with a style of football which he immediately betrayed as soon as he lost the first two games in his first season. He just became pragmatic. This guy, for his entire first season, he played his football. At the start of this season, up until the injuries, we played our football, which was his football, until he had to change. People say he's not for changing. Oh, no, no, no. Ange has changed this season. Everyone's that final was not a typical Ange playing football, but he adapted to the situation. So it goes against the narrative. So I flip it to this, and I'm not comparing him to Sir Alex Ferguson for those people who might come for me. Alex Ferguson arrived in this country after having a winning reputation in Aberdeen. In fact, winning the very title we've just won now with Aberdeen, beating Real Madrid in the final. Showed up at Manchester United, and I think he came 11th in his first season, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if you find out different. His second season, he actually challenged and came second or third. The season after that, he came 11th. It took a near sacking of Sir Alex Ferguson in the 89-90 season, where he was almost finished, but for Mark Robinson's goal that saved his job. And then the FA Cup final that summer in 1990, for those who can go that far back, where Lee Martin's goal was the decider against Crystal Palace. That changed the course of Manchester United's history. I'm not comparing it directly to Ange Postecoglou. I don't know what's going to happen. I've just told Soji, being at that parade, listening to the narrative, everyone and their father was convinced that regardless of the results, he would be sacked. Man, the wave of emotions in that place. I'm sorry for going on this long. I think Ange has won. So over to you,
No,
Optimus.
no. Listen, it's always captivating listening to you and all that sort of. But listen, but the truth of the matter is, look, like you said, I think it would be insane to even consider or contemplate sacking him now, right? Because I mean, like you said, the mob will burn down the place if anybody's sacking him at this point in time. I'm not even sure it should come into the conversation anyway. I mean, I've always felt that look, this sack talk is, I think it's over the top, and it shouldn't even be contemplated. And I've said that my reasons over and over again. I don't want to go into that now. We're in celebration mode for me now, and I'm thinking more. What next? Who knows? We now in for the Super Cup. We get to play. I mean, whoever wins between PSG and Inter, and you'd be surprised that we might just win that, And it's like, oh my goodness, And then we qualify for the Club World Championship. Tottenham. Club World Championship, really? In the same sentence? It's like
it's fantastic, and what's funny is like I had this list of players that I said, transfer list wise, transfer window time we'll go for, and I kept saying in my head that man, it's going to be difficult going for players, without Champions League football in one night, because Tottenham have a pre-contract clause kind of thing with Johnny Cardoso, the central midfielder. I won't call him a defensive midfielder, Betis. But over the last couple of months, word has been coming through the boys' agents that the guys like, look, I need to get out of this because I'm not joining this club that's 16th, 17th. But hold on, my son.
Don't be too hasty.
I sum up what Van de Ven said. Van de Ven said that, when he was joining Tottenham, same thing Madison echoed as well. They told him, you have retired from winning trophies. And he said, well, history can be made. And now Madison has come in. Madison in his second season has won a trophy at Spurs. Van de Ven in his second season has won a trophy at Spurs. And now Johnny Cardoso, wherever you are, sir, you're watching, you watch what happened, you've seen that parade, that is who we are. That is the history of the Tottenham, the first European winners in Britain. 4-time European champions.
You know, because we've been the object of ridicule, and I've said this before, right? But I'll just repeat it again. We've been object of ridicule, banter. Everyone believes that, oh, we've never won anything. You know, like but counting the trophies, we're probably in the top six in the history of England,
Europe,
and
yeah. No,
that is
in the history of Europe as well. Like
yeah,
if you take away the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, the AC Milan, and all that, we're in that top 10 of people who've won trophies in European competitions. We're three-time UEFA Cup winners,
yeah.
one-time Cup winners, Cup winner.
There you go. So it's like, so when people don't know the history and they run out all of things, it almost makes even the fan base believe that narrative, and it sort of permeates through the whole ethos and narratives that anytime you're talking about Tottenham, they're talking about they never win anything, or they've never won anything, or you can discard them, but that that's now stuff of history. Pray for many more to come, very very quickly. That's what,
And Soji, he said something else a while back, and he repeated it when he was talking to the TNT panel, Glenn Hoddle, Rio Ferdinand, and Gareth Bale. He said, "I knew that coming third or finishing top four will not change this club. Winning a trophy will." And when he said that, I was like, "Yeah, but I have a lot of people that are telling me, oh, but you said you never loved trophies." I said, no, I never said I didn't like trophies. I said, but I wanted to win it the right way. I wanted us to have a style of football. We work towards it. And that first season was a foundation. I felt he could do something second season. I got so deflated because I was like, come on, this is his second season. You know, I didn't know it would turn out this way, but he said and you can see it switch in Brennan Johnson's mind now. Like honestly, I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to the summer. I'm looking forward to next season because now you're not coming into the season as Brennan Johnson.
they're coming
You're
into
coming in as, damn it, I'm Brennan Johnson, Europa League winner.
that
I
is
won a trophy at my club. Now I will take you on. I want him to now realize, look, dude, take that guy on and eat him. Chop your man. Cross that ball. Score. You
and
know?
if you're looking at the final now, looking back and how the whole thing unfolded and all that sort of thing, right? The determination that he went in for that ball with, to try and get in between and confuse them, that's what results. That's what ended up. I mean, ending the goal, and you can see that. And I was watching back, all of the goals that he scored on the way to the final. And I'm thinking to myself, this man ain't bad at all if you just watch the highlights.
No, like I said, he's like, all right, man. Brennan Johnson does nothing at all. He just scores goals. and, and if nothing else, what did they say? The aim of the game. Someone said, what's that thing? Ruben Amorim said, we were the better side. He said, well, go and take the better side trophy. We're happy with the Europa League. He just scores goals and the goals win matches, and no, it's just to a man I can look at that squad.
and
Also, but for Dominic Solanke, messing up a bit, it could have been a masterclass of like we had two breakaways that could
yeah,
have led to. It could
yeah.
have just been a wonderful smash and grab
Smash and grab.
3-0
Exactly.
masterclass.
And the other thing about it is that I've seen us at the end of losing on several occasions when we played really well, and we lose to the odd mistake or the odd goal from some sort of error on our part, something like that. And you're just seeing this unfold, and in this case, come out on top. It's like unbelievable. You think matches where we've had 60-70% possession and we still lose, And people say, who does, as we say in Pidgin, who fancy football help? Just score the
They
goal.
had 16 shots on goal, 6 on target. We have 3 shots on goal, 1 on target. But the thing about it as well, someone said to me yesterday was, your guy, the Ange guy, everybody said high line, everybody talked about how he's an attacking gung ho, and that's not what makes a good manager. Yesterday or day before, he put in a defensive masterclass.
Absolutely.
Him in that second half, bringing on Kevin Danso to go 3 at the back or 5.
Yeah.
My goody gosh. He was like, let's see if you guys can score. But guess what? If I break away, my guys will score. And if that's not what every club needs, he's had this in his arsenal. The problem I believe Spurs have had and why the injuries are so important, are so important as part of the narrative is our second team isn't as good, but then your second team never really is as good because they also don't get playing time. It takes a while for a team to become, cohesive on a pitch.
Yeah.
So you're bringing in your second team odd games. This is why you rotate for the League Cup. You rotate for, but he was so desperate this season to win a cup that he
But
played
he
big
couldn't.
boys in those cup
But he
competitions.
couldn't rotate anyway. He couldn't rotate
Yeah,
it. If you
yeah,
remember,
he couldn't rotate, but even though he played the big boys in those competitions, we went as far as we could in the League Cup. But that also added to the injury problem because he wanted to win. He wanted silverware, and he says, "Okay, I'm not going to win a league title. I know that. I'll try for it. I'm not going to win it, but FA Cup, League Cup." So he tried to play the big boys in those games when he could, and it added to their injuries. However, once he worked out this Europa, man, we can take these teams out. Let's do it. And you look at the journey, and people are trying to downsize the UEFA Cup now by saying, well, the Champions League clubs didn't drop down into it. I've had some, you know, friends from down the road telling me, well, Champions League guys didn't drop down into it. You can only beat what's in front of you, but I
absolutely.
didn't hear any of this talk when they made the final against Chelsea in Baku in 2019. I didn't hear any of this. Well, Europa is, but I didn't hear any of that nonsense. We have made, I had to remind the young man I met. Listen, my dear boy, we've beaten Real Madrid, not just any Real Madrid. Sergio Ramos, Cristiano Ronaldo, Madrid,
Ronaldo, Asensio, everybody was there.
Karim Benzema, Isco, Real Madrid, Tottenham beats them. So
Modric,
don't give me that.
you
Don't
know,
give me that. Don't give me that. Oh well, no, we've beaten Real Madrid. We've made a Champions League final. But for a mishap, we could be talking Champions League winner, Europa League winner right now, Spurs. But we thank God for where we are. I'm
absolutely.
truly grateful. It's hard to believe that we said this thing years ago that you know if Tottenham finish 17th and win a trophy, it's still a successful season. And I said, no, I don't know. Now I can actually see it. I have felt it. I understand now. I don't give a damn about top four anymore. I don't care. If we can just keep doing FA Cups, League Cups, Spurs forever, put it on our group. Next 20 years, just FA Cup, League Cups,
That
Europa League, Champions
winning
League.
feeling, I cannot. It can't. You just. I
That's where
felt
I
like
am.
if I could bottle it up and just keep it somewhere and have a drink of it now and again, it's unbelievable. It's on. I've been on a high since Wednesday. Honestly, I've been on massive, massive highs. Unbelievable. It's been really, really good, really good, really good.
No, we
I
have to shout out David in Nottingham. I hope David enjoyed this. Um, our good friend who now has bragging rights over Yardman, HAG, our hag, Alexander Gamble.
Alexander
If you're
Campbell,
watching this,
shout out to you. Eh?
shout out to you.
The man that
Please
says rain on
harass
this man.
Yardman, harass Yardman, harass Yardman. Take him down, because
Uh,
no, you've endured a lot. This is
been,
your time
been,
to,
been
you
really
know,
good. Been really good.
you know.
Really, really good.
But we're not a hate mission. We're just But it was interesting. I don't know if you watched the end of the thing, the trophy where Christian Romero had trolled Harry Maguire. People are blaming Harry Maguire. They're really coming out against it. Well, you have to watch the game to have seen what he trolled him the whole game. He was doing things, saying things to this guy, leaving his foot in a bit. He did some real shithousery stuff to so at the end of the game when he now goes to Maguire, oh,
Listen,
sorry, my guy.
well done, guys.
Maguire had it up to here. He
He just
now
laughed
came
that.
for him, and I felt so sorry for Maguire because now everyone look at Maguire. Oh, look at you, bad sportsman. No, no, no. Watch the game. This guy, Christian Romero, love him, hate him, loathe him. I'm ticked off at the whole Atletico Madrid thing. But one of the things about the Atletico Madrid move was Tottenham don't win anything. Now all of a sudden, what happens now this summer? Christian Romero has to look at himself and go, wait, hold up. We just won this. We're in Champions League, which is what I want to play.
Yep, yep, yep,
Where
yep.
am I going to? I'm the most loved defender now. He was what player of the match. He's in the Europa League team of the cup. He's now legitimately top 3 defenders in the world.
All from playing for Tottenham. Hello.
all for playing for little Tottenham. You know, the history of the Tottenham.
I know, right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what are your predictions for Brighton?
Second,
What are your predictions for the Brighton game?
um,
You don't care. No one cares.
do I care?
You know what? We haven't had the show since the Palace game, and I remember you saying you don't give a monkeys about the Palace game. That anything can happen. It's all about that final. It's all about that final. And I was like,
Absolutely.
man, I wanted to not care, but when I watched the Palace match, a part of me was like, but in that, even in that Palace match, like if we just do a quick recap here, Odebear and Matisse Tell played very well.
Yeah.
There was a chance Odebear had where if he had just shot it instead of trying to flick it, but the
Yeah.
flick was beautiful.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a goal. There are little shoots of
Glimpses.
things.
Yeah.
I'm hearing now Bayern Munich are willing to listen to Spurs. We're not going to pay 50 or 60 million for Tell, but they're willing to sell him for less now because he wants to stay. He's won. Matisse Tell showed up at Spurs
And we win a trophy.
telling Man United to go the other way. Man United lost him to, and the Man United fan said, "Well, who cares?" I remember this. I'm getting receipts out where he said, "Who cares? He's joined Spurs. He's an idiot." Anyway, Spurs will just give him playing time. We'll come back and collect him because we know they don't win anything. The guy has shown up and he's won a bloody Europa League. Now he's looking at our club facilities, a manager that speaks his truth.
But you know,
We're the most attractive club in London at the moment to join.
but you know the funny thing about it is that I actually like Tell, right? Even though he hasn't really done much this season, but you know, he has that vibe about
It's
him
there.
that he really cares. He wants to do something. You know,
It's there.
anytime
You
he's
can
pressing,
see
he's
it.
like, he was like, Catherine guys, come on, let's go. Let's go. And that's the sort of mentality you want in and how old is he? 19, 20? How old is he?
Yeah, he's 2021. Yeah, he's young.
So it's like, I mean, someone like that doing that. I mean, I just tell myself when he gets settled down into his own, he will start to do magical stuff. And
He
people,
just needs a preseason.
yes,
He needs a preseason. And here we have Spurs. We have Vuskovic coming in, who has been called up to the Croatian senior team at the age of 19.
are you serious? Oh, wow.
He's killed the Belgian. That boy has conquered the Belgian league. Alfie Devine with him, same team, coming back. These guys are coming back to a winning squad. You have all these guys coming back. We might sell Mano Solomon. We might not. Who knows? But Mano Solomon has won. Spurs have gotten something they can hold on to. Now it's all down to the decision of Daniel Levy and what's he going to do this time. After 2008, we had the opportunity to do some great things. It didn't work. After the 2019 final, everybody was tired at that point. That team had reached the end of its journey, and we still try to hold on. We now brought in new managers for them, but this time now we have a nucleus of a team. Vicario is there, Kinski is right behind him, Poro is there, Udogi is there. And here we were thinking Udogi would leave because City were looking at him. Madrid are looking at Poro. Now they've won. Pedro Poro does not look like a man who's going to pack his bags and leave.
Honestly, he's like a Spurs for life type of guy. The way I see him.
Van der Ven, that saving off the line clearance has sealed his statue outside Spurs. That should be his statue, really. Him kicking that ball, that pose, that's his statue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mickey's a no. We can't continue. We're just go, but it's just
You know the funny thing about it, right?
yeah.
I know that this might be. I'm not trying to sort of undermine or say underplay what Van de Ven did in terms of playing that line. It was off Vicario's error, clearly, right? And but then again, at the end, there was this header that was going in, and that Vicario save. That
That
save
save.
was the save of
Oh,
the match. Honestly, that save was it was in injury time. I was looking at time, 6 minutes and some, and he made that save. I thought to myself, oh my goodness, that is the save that won us the championship.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
uh,
It's just
top
it's
draw,
just
top draw, top draw, guys. Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear from you. How do you feel Spurs winning? How do you feel for the next few seasons? For season ahead, should Ange stay or should Ange go still? my position remains, and I'm not trying to influence you or anything, but listen, I've always been Anjin. I remain 1,000% more Anjin now than ever. And come on, you Spurs, guys. Come on, you
Come
Spurs.
on, you Spurs.
Sign out. Take good care. Bless you.
Yeah. Bye.
Yes.